Tools are tools, right? Well, no, some of them are a bit weird. I mean, yeah, Allen keys look like Allen keys and hex keys are Torx keys, and they look pretty similar, but there's some real outlier tools out there. We're gonna dive into some really unique tools with the amazing people from Park Tool. Okay, so we're joined by some legends of the tool, legends of Park Tool, Truman and Calvin, and we're going to talk about some more sort of outlier tools that we don't know about normally. We're used to hex tools, we're used to Torx keys, which kind of look the same. Obviously, they're not the same, but yeah, you're going to talk us through some tools that are real outliers, really crazy wild ones. Go for it.
Yeah, so we've got a handful of tools here that are a little odd looking. Some of you bike mechanics out there might say, that's not odd, I use that on a daily basis. But a lot of people will be like, what is that?
But it still can help your bike. You know what these are.
First one, let's go into, this is what is called the DT 5.2. It has a spinning blade, this blue handle. It mounts on your bike. There it is. What does it do though?
Slices and dices your disc brake mount.
So this, you turn it and it will machine your brake mounts to be flat, and then it's using this post as a reference point, and so you can go to your next one and make sure that they are on the same plane, and you can create the correct depth so they are exactly the same height, same angle, flat. And a very important piece to keeping your brakes working properly, sound-free.
Yeah, it's all about that astral plane being on the same. What we mean is the rotor is running in one plane, literally. The pads need to match that. And if this is crooked a little bit, now, how did they get crooked? Well, sometimes they're shipped that way new, and this is going to improve it. If you're hitting flat, you're reducing the noise, but you're also getting more power braking when it's crooked a bit. You're going to apply it at an angle. It's going to try and straighten itself up, but you're losing to flex. Things are moving around, so it's not as powerful. So it's a beauty.
And noise, some heat buildup can happen. It's good to have them exactly correct. Also, if what we run into is it's hard to adjust a brake. So if both of the mounting surfaces for that brake, if they don't match up, then when you tighten it, those bolts are fighting each other and they can actually walk the caliper around. So when you tighten the bolt, the caliper walks somewhere else. So it can be really hard to keep the adjustment that you make when you tighten the bolt.
I think it's really fun because you've got a product that is quite unique and looks otherworldly, but it's a problem that so many people have in terms of if you've got a noisy brake, okay, it could be pads, it could be rotor, but it could be the mount, as you've said, like not having the caliper aligned square and true.
There's a lot going on here because there's a lot of different braking standards, and then there's a lot of different dropout standards.
Through axles,
fat bikes.
Yep, widths, narrow, boost, not boost. And materials. Now, what it comes with, we have steel, good for your titanium, your steel, your aluminum.
Aluminium.
For you guys. And we do have one carbon fiber, of course, everywhere. And we have an accessory for that. Now, that famous bike mechanic, Marilyn Monroe, we used to sing, diamonds are a bike mechanic's best friend. And what this is diamond, industrial diamond grit, because carbon is best cut by grinding, not by cutting like steel, not a blade. So the grinding foot is available for our carbon fiber people.
Yeah,
that's a fun one.
Fun little tool.
Yeah, no, that's really fun. And again, it's one of those things where lots of people have had the problem and not been able to hunt down where it's from, but with that, you can. Okay, good tool. I like it. I feel like I need to buy one. I have to save up. Be good.
Right.
Yeah, there is a cost that comes along with it, yeah.
But that's the cost of precision. And it will work on your frame, lots of friends' frames. Okay, maybe it's a more kind of like you've got everything else and you want that final thing. But yeah, flush brake mounts that work, well, yeah, priceless. Okay, what's your next wild outlier tool.
Next up at bat. Next up, did they do that in cricket at bat? I'm not sure.
Yeah, next up to bat. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we can do cricket analogies.
We're going to show you a tool that you can't fake. That DT 5.2, you can't take a hand file and pretend you're doing anything.
I've tried, you can't.
We're going to go back in time for the crazy tool, the KS1. You can't fake this thing.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, what?
That is a funky looking tool.
You bet. So, well, let's see what it's for. It's a very specific tool, and this one you can't fake. It is for the older American bikes, such as the Schwinn Stingrays. Now, they had a kickstand that was permanently mounted. So now many of our roadie friends will say, permanently mounted steel kickstand? Are those people insane? This is your Sprague kickstand. It is mounted to the bike, not bolted on. You can take it out and save weight. And if it gets greasy and, you want to fix it, not working well, you have to have this puller. You can't get in. Now this tool, we say it is so nice, we made it twice.
We made this for probably 20, 30 years probably.
Yes.
Discontinued it for another 10 years, and then it was in demand again apparently, and people wanted it, and so we reintroduced it. And there was not that many sales. There actually wasn't that many people interested.
Yeah.
But you can find this KS1 on eBay, and they go for a chunk.
Yeah. There we go. It catches the back of the braze-on here, and these two fingers in front push a plunger in. Truman, there's a pin on top there, if you will. He's going to lift the little pin. Yeah, and...
All right. You need a needle nose.
Oh, he's just weak.
Oh, I got it.
The little pin comes out. You see what I mean? You're not pushing that in with your fingers or anything. Now, old sticky grease. See, we can put high performance grease here, put it back together, or leave it out, or replace parts. But tools are to save time, let you do the job, and that's what we've always.
There's another tool that I've used to do this.
What would that be?
What would that be? Any guesses? I think it's it's in almost everybody's home shop. I think it's a 17 millimeter combination wrench. So you put it over the end, and then you can use this as your pivot point, as your fulcrum. Put it, and then the box end pushes on it. So that's another way to do this.
Excellent.
Same process.
Understanding the mechanical concept, applying the principles, getting the job done.
I do love how it feels like a modern thing of lots of people, and lots of people commenting in terms of bikes now. Oh, they need proprietary tools. They need this specific thing. And it's like, well, we've actually had that. We've been there before. It's all okay.
That's right. Calm down, everyone. Calm down.
Yeah,
more tools.
Yeah, more tools. Here we go. If you go to the pub, do you guys ever play dice game?
Rolling
dice
the
games?
dice?
Dice games, not so much. I've got into dominoes recently. I'm very bad at dominoes, but I've got into it, yeah. Not just stacking them up and falling them over, but actually playing, honest.
Midwest, USA, dice games are kind of popular there, but yeah, we got a couple dice here. So, FTC1. This tool, kind of odd looking. It's a dice. It's, a little cube. It's got little different shapes on each side. What they do is they match up with fork caps. And these caps cover the, where you put air into your fork. They thread onto the Schrader valve, and they keep dust out. They actually usually have a seal in there as a secondary seal if there's a leak within the valve core. And sometimes somebody over tightened them. Maybe through some heat cycles, they got overly tight. You can use a tool like this to go on there and remove it.
That's right. And it's very low profile. Well, I know what, Truman. I'll get me a pair of pliers and take this thing off and mangle it to pieces. So nice plastic here. So this we recommend as a removal tool. we don't really want you to crank them down tight.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a dust cap like for your inner tube.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But
if you use it for install, you need to use it to uninstall.
So what we want our viewers to do is tell us what games. We actually have these numbered so we can see who's going to go get the pizza, Truman. Okay. What do I got?
What'd you get? Oh, you beat me. I got 4. I got to go get the pizza.
You have to go
today.
get the pizza. So all the different shapes, they're numbered. And then, of course, you can try and play Yahtzee.
And
didn't get it.
It is a weighted dice. So you'll figure out, if people who want to play games with this will figure out which sides are weighted.
Not permitted in Las Vegas.
No.
No, you're going to get in trouble.
Not casino approved yet.
Cool little process. Works on, Fox, a lot of RockShox, Olin's, DVO, the rebound on the bottom of Fox, lots of the Marzocchi stuff, some Suntour, some Manitou as well.
Yeah. And moving on, a fun, interesting shape we like.
Oh, yeah.
What the
This
heck?
one is fun. These tools go way back. People have been using these for 100 years.
Thing goes up and down. It's a comparator. So when you build the pyramids, you can see if things are square. So these come in and out.
Yeah, little blocks shifting in and out. So what does this thing do? Well, this is it's a reference tool. So you'll take your wheel, you'll lay this down on the wheel, and you'll put this indicator down. So that's basically, you're using the rim as a reference point, and then you're using that as another reference point, and then you flip that over and compare that to the other side. So you can, if you were looked carefully, you can see that this is dished to the non-drive side.
Right. I don't think you could get a quid in there, but it's a little gap. So, so we're technically off a little bit, and wheel builders will know this tool. And if you want to drive yourself crazy, understand this. You can get this thing perfect, inflate your tire, especially the high pressure tires.
Yep.
You've just changed your dish.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, and that's a fun one because when you inflate your tires, there's pressure going in, which will essentially reduce the dimension, relax the tension a little bit, and then
shift.
The tension drive side to non-drive side is different, and that's why it will shift to one side.
Yeah. So to drive yourself crazy and to spend more time working on your bike than riding it, try and get it perfect when inflated.
I've been there and done that, and also seen there was a kind of an insert to tyres that you could use. It was a downhill one that was sort of a tube within a tube. We'll keep it, the description as that. And a younger journalist had kind of set it up the night before, and he'd come back and he was really confused. I was working in the workshop, and he came in and was like, why is my wheel gone out of true? And I was kind of like, well, you put the tube within a tube thing, and didn't you? He's like, well, yeah. And I was like, and you pumped it up to 50, 60 PSI? 70? Come on. And I was like, okay, yeah. Probably because the wheel's only rated to 40. Is it? Yeah. So, yeah, all of the spokes had lost tension, and it was all wobbly. Deflated the tube within a tube, and back to being okay again. Lucky.
Yeah, it's fun though. What can make a big difference?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, wrapping up batting, coming into home. What's our last batter called? Cleanup batter, we call that. We got simple, old, goofy-looking things. They're simple pin spanners, still very, very current. So what are we? Have the SPA1, SPA2, your adjustable bottom bracket. That's what they used to be for. You fit in the pin holes and adjust the bottom bracket. Different companies, of course, they have different sizes. So we would fit the Shimano, the Campi, the Sugino, etc., TA, so on, so on, so on. And they also have we still use them today at Park Tool Company. We work every day here, and we often have to ship a lot of stuff out, and the packaging department has these boxes and they're fighting with. So what they'll do is they'll take these tools and look at that. It's a clothespin. Give me some more here. And give me one more. Now we're...
It's easy to load the box.
Yep,
Easy to pull these off.
Yeah, reusable. The boxes can be used for other purposes. Now, another thing they can be, should have had here, handlebar tape. You wrap your handlebar at the tape. You forgot to get your scissors. Take your clothespin, jam. Oh, now I can go get my tape and scissors and then get ready, take it off, finish the job. So that's nice.
That's probably the number one use
that
I know of for
use.
These, you know, you need them when you need them, but you're going to wrap a lot more handlebars now than you probably are going to be adjusting adjustable bottom brackets.
That's right. Just that for us. But very important use that very common. This particular one is the SRAM, but there's others doing this too. FSA, we have pinholes here, and this little one fits. And this particular one is actually not very tight. Whoa, look at that, it moves. We don't want that thing moving. What is this? This is your cap for your one key or self-extracting release. So if these have come loose and fallen out on the road, you just lost your crank extractor. And there are about 4 different companies, different size threads here. There's nobody making an extractor for you. So you got to go back down the road and find your cap and put it back in.
It's very common. So every year we go to Sea Otter, and we love fixing people's bikes and helping people get back on the road. But a very common thing is these caps fall off.
Yeah.
And when a lot of people wandering around Sea Otter, what do? They'll buy a new component. A component they often buy is either a new chain ring, maybe they buy a new bottom bracket, and then they come over and we're willing to help them and get that installed. They have a dub crank, it's missing that cap.
Yep.
We
can't get it off, so you have to go find your friend that's wandering around,
exactly,
rob their dust cap,
yeah, exactly,
and then take it off and then give it back. So
it's fun. It's happened probably a dozen times where we don't have the cap. Go find a friend.
Why was it loose? Why was something loose? I don't understand.
Well, probably because it wasn't tight.
It wasn't tight,
but it is also difficult. This is a large diameter thread.
Yes,
and it's got pinholes to tighten it. So
your fingers don't work.
You can't. It's really difficult to get enough tension on that bolt to resist unthreading. Right. So you have to use thread locker. If it comes off,
it's a left-hand thread. It's a reverse thread.
Mm-hmm.
Mild thread locker would be a good idea right here.
Yep.
Well, I think it's one of those components that touches on if you've been riding a little while and we had, the 3-piece cranks where you had square taper bottom brackets. You had to find the right crank extraction tool, to pull the crank off. And now with many, many modern cranks having this extra bolt, I think lots of people are like, well, I probably don't need that, until you then need to take it off and you have that very problem of
the built-in tool is missing.
Yeah.
And that's a tool? Yeah, that's the tool. Yeah.
You went on your bike ride with your crank extractor.
Yeah. Yeah, things have progressed a lot.
So that's five odd tools.
We got more that bends and does all sorts of stuff, but another day for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like you've shared a lot of tools, and this is a tool that initially I was very confused by. We'll share it in more detail, but it's one of those tools that you can't live without. If you're switching forks a lot, I'm very lucky I'm doing that, and it's very fun to switch forks. You get new things to play with. But there's one thing that for a long time I used to mess up doing, which was inserting the new star nut, which is the sort of preload cap which slides or is inserted in an interface fit into the steer tube, until I saw one of these wonderful tools, which is a star nut insertion tool. I sadly don't know the Park tool name for it, but yeah, I don't know how I lived without one before. It's one of those things that lives on a shelf, and then I need it, and it's perfect.
It sets the correct depth. It keeps the star nut so that it goes in nice and straight.
The star nut straight is the key thing there. Yeah. So the TNS4.
Yep.
Threadless nut setter 4.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. Add it to your wish list now. Thank you very much for sharing all these fantastic, unique and outlier tools. And let's catch up again soon to talk about more. And of course, you out there, let us know which is your outlier tool that lives on your shelf and sometimes you're not sure what it's for, and then you remember and you realise it's the perfect tool. Let us know in the comments.